Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with a Snake Eyes update. This is the build that I recently hit Master with. And actually, I had a very, very good run. I went 18-6 from Upper Diamond into Master with this build, with a win rate of 75%, which is not too shabby if I do say so myself. And at least part of the reason for that is because we have included Sprite Elf. It was really funny. So a few days ago, I got in my stream chat as well as on YouTube comments, like, all at the same time, all within a couple of hours of each other, a bunch of people saying, "Oh, how could you not be on Sprite Elf? Am I the only one playing this? It's so obvious, it's so good." And I'm like, okay, if everyone's making these claims all at the same time, that means somebody either posted a video or topped a tournament with it. So I did a little digging, and sure enough, it was DK'd, posted an updated combo guide, which caused everyone to kind of like, act like they always knew that Sprite Elf was good, even though they didn't. But anyway, I will say that the new combo lines he featured were very, very impressive. I'm going to show you the one-card Snake Eyes Ash combo line that he featured in his video after I talk about this updated build of mine to give you an idea of what Sprite Elf can do for the end board. I want to stress this. I am not the inventor of this combo line. This is the same one that DK'd will show in his video. I've never claimed to be an inventor of any combo line I've ever posted in my video, but I guess, need to stress this, that, yeah, I am not going to invent the combo that I showed you, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. That comes from DK'd. It was very, very helpful, though. I will say overall, Sprite Elf definitely does add a lot to your turn 1 inboard when your full turn 1 combo goes off. I didn't find myself summoning this quite as often as I thought I would. It does seem to me that, like, it typically only comes out, again, at the end of the line when the combo line has gone off. But I wouldn't call Sprite Elf win more. Normally, I would call combo pieces like that a little bit win more. But I will say that Sprite Elf adds enough power to your end board that I think it is optimal, even if it only comes up when your turn 1 combo goes right. But there are a lot of games where I just did not end up summoning this card. But that said, I do still think it is a good option. Plus, the extra deck is, like, I wouldn't call Snake Eyes extra deck, like, super wide open, but I think it's open enough, right? Like, there are a few cards here that I could see myself cutting, like Sunlight Wolf. It comes up, but not all the time. Celine comes up, but not all the time. Granted, to be fair, I am not playing the Dramatic Snake Eye Chase, which is a card I have been considering putting in. Honestly, the main reason I've considered putting this in is to actually make Celine into access code a little bit more consistent. And also to have, like, another card to search off the Bellstar that wasn't Wanted or Original Sin. I think just having that option is pretty good. But overall, like, I don't think this card is, like, the most necessary in the world. But I don't think it's bad either. Same with the Trap card. I think I would definitely play Dramatic Snake Eye Chase before I included the Silvara. But I don't think this card is necessarily terrible either. So, okay, let's talk about the build here and a lot of the differences from my previous build. So, main difference from my previous build is the notable lack of both Magician Souls and Where Art Thou. For Magician Souls, I don't think that card is bad in this deck at all. I think it's a great extender. The question really just is, how badly does this deck actually need an extender? And I kind of don't think it does. This deck already has a ton of ability to go into combos off of just one card. We have 3 Snake Eye Ash, that's a 1-card combo. We're on 3 Poplar now. This is a 1-card combo, so it's, it's kind of like, we were only playing 2 before, but just because this is a card you want to search doesn't mean it isn't also a card you want to open. So we're on a full playset of Poplar now. We have a full playset of Diabellstar, that represents plays. The 3 Wanted, to search the Diabellstar, also represents plays. Granted, Diabellstar is, quote-unquote 1.5 card, but it's close enough to a 1-card combo, because the other card that you discard literally doesn't matter what it is. So we already have 12 total cards that enable our plays off of, like, just by themselves, or in Diabellstar's case, with 1 card to send. Now, on top of that, the Original Sin, like, if you open this with, literally any hand trap or just something you can normal summon, you can go into Snake Eye Ash and then start your plays. So I count this, although this is not a 1-card starter, this is very easy to count as a starter, I think, as well. So yeah, I think between all of those, it's like, how much do you really need extenders in a deck like this? I don't think you do very badly. That said, the main reason why I'm not playing Magician Souls was to fit in more disruption, like Imperms and Veilers were the big ones. And also to add a couple of triple taxes and board breakers. So if you do value extenders more highly than those kinds of cards, which I don't blame you for, I think that's there's definitely some merit to that, then I think Magician Souls is definitely more worth playing. Where Art Thou, I'm a little bit less, like, I don't know. I kind of struggle to see that card being optimal in even current Snake Eyes builds. For me, the main use of Where Art Thou, which to be fair, I didn't really consider this or talk about it in my last video, but to me, where Art Thou shines the most is if your Snake Eye Ash gets negated, then you can just Where Art Thou and add the Poplar and continue your line anyway. But at the same time, it's like, am I really trying to play Where Art Thou for it to be, I don't know, extra copies of Crossout before exactly, like, Ash, Veiler, and Imperm? To me, the answer is honestly going to be no. And beyond that, it doesn't really, like, help or enable plays that you couldn't already do in my experience. It's like, because here's the other thing, too. Some people argue, well, what if you draw a Veiler, or a Droll, or a Jet Synchron? You could normal summon those and then activate the Where Art Thou for the Poplar and then go into plays. Or you could activate Original Sin and send whatever you normal summoned for Ash and just go into your plays. So, like, I think I would always play 3 Original Sin before I played any amount of Where Art Thou. And even then, if I was going to play another Searcher, I'm still kind of thinking that Small World would be better to be able to just go into your plays more often. Because, again, Where Art Thou is never going to help you go into your plays. It can only help you further plays that you already have. So, excuse me. And even the situations where, again, it can help you go into plays, Original Sin does it, and arguably even better. So, I don't know. I don't think Where Art Thou is bad, but I don't necessarily think it's optimal. Especially if you're playing less than 3 Original Sin. I think you should probably just be maxing out on this card every single time before you start playing Where Art Thou. But, let's see. So, the big things that have changed in the main deck that I discussed are the Veilers, the Imperms, and the Triple Tax. Veiler and Imperm end up being pretty good in this meta, where Snake Eye Ash negating this card is actually decently amount of the time enough to stop their plays. So these kinds of disruption tools do become more effective in this meta. Of course, cards like Veiler and Imperm were definitely good before, too. They just struggled to be relevant quite as often because a lot of the top tier decks of the format at that time, most notably like Super Heavy Samurai and Manadium, can very easily play through a single monster negate, right? Yeah, and the Triple Tax, I mean, I love this card in Best of 1. I mean, it's a great card overall, like, period. I think this card is great and almost always underplayed, but I think especially in Best of 1, it's like, I've talked about this a lot. It's the same reason why I value Droplet a lot. Like, I really like board breakers that are also good going first. I've made this point a million times. Kaiju's Dark Luna War evenly, not a fan of it. Droplet, Triple Tactics Talent, and Index where it's applicable Super Polymerization, hell yeah, I'm all over those kinds of board breakers. Because again, you can use those going first and not have them just sit there in your hand and you be really sad that you opened them. Let's see, what else is there to say about the build? No Snake Eyes Birch. It's not bad, but it's just not necessary at all. I do like 2 Snake Eyes Oak. I see the majority of people are on 1, but that kind of, to me, begs the question of, well, what do you do when you open this card then? I don't know, to me it's the same reason why we play 2 Big Benki, the Pendulum Big Benki in Super Heavy Samurai, right? Because, like, if you open this card and you only play 1, you kind of can't do your combos, so... and also, like, even having the second for follow-up plays is also very, very good. I don't think 1 Snake Eye Oak is bad, but I suspect 2 is probably optimal. For the extra deck, not really too much new happening here. I am kind of, I think I touched on this before, I'm kind of considering cutting Selene, because without Dramatic Snake Eyes Chase and Magician Souls, the Diabell Star comes up less often, and as a result, the Selene, in turn, also comes up less often. Granted, we do have the Effect Veilers as well, but I think overall, there is a world where I could see myself playing Nightmare, Phoenix, possibly, instead of Selene. I don't own World Dragon Zealantis, so I haven't tried that 1-card OTK that was featured in DK's video yet, but I can see myself trying that out as well. Possibly cutting something like, Sunlight Wolf has come up very occasionally, but not super duper often, because we're not on the Heat Soul engine here. But Yeah, I think that the big flex spots for the extra deck here are Sunlight Wolf and Celine. I think pretty much everything else you need. Maybe Nightmare Unicorn is like, you could debatably try... Like, you could debatably try Nightmare Unicorn, or I mean Underworld Goddess of the Closed World over Nightmare Unicorn, but I think if you're playing Access Code, which I do think is optimal in this deck, you need to have a Link 3 to be able to make it 5300. So combine with your 3k Snake Eyes to make, you know, lethal, so... Okay, I think that covers just about everything here. So I'm going to break down the build card by card. Then I'm going to show you Decade's one-card combo line with Snake Eye Ash that includes Elf, and just to demonstrate how that helps improve your turn 1 end board. So for this build, we are on a 2-effect Veiler, 2 Droll Lockbird, 1 Jet Synchron, 3 Snake Eye Ash, 2 Snake Eye Oak, 3 Snake Eyes Poplar, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom and a Joyous Spring, 3 Diabell Star the Black Witch, 2 Snake Eyes Flamber Dragon, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 1 141, 2 Triple Tactics Talent, 2 Original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, 1 Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, 2 Caller by the Grave, 1 Cross-Eye Designator, 3 Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, and then finally 3 Infinite Impermanents, and that'll be our main deck. For the extra deck, we are on 1 Formula Synchron, 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, 1 Baron de Fleur, 1 Link Karibo, 1 Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf, 1 Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, 1 Sprite Elf, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians, 1 Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, 1 Amphibious Storm Ship Ambler Whale, 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. I finally got my alt art. Well, I say finally, I only had to spend 3k gems on it, but I'm very, very glad I got this alt art. And then finally, 1 Access Code Talker. So that does it for the deck profile section. Let's go ahead now and see that Decade's 1-card combo line. Okay, so we have the Snake Eye Ash. Of course, we have a couple of other gas cards too. But as always as ever, we're going to pretend like Snake Eye Ash is the only combo relevant card. So this will be the 1-card combo, again, that works in Sprite Elf. And I'll show you how that improves the board here. So we're going to start by normal summoning the Snake Eye Ash and activating the effect to add the Poplar. Alright, let's go ahead and activate Poplar's effect in order to special summon to our field. And we'll activate the effect to search. Now, in the other 1-card combo line, we would add the Divine Temple and just set that up along with the extra Flamber Dragon, just to kind of have them in case we needed them. But if you want to do the Sprite Elf line, that puts both Formula Synchron and IP Masquerena on your field, you're going to want to add the original Sin. Okay, let's link off the Poplar for the Link Karibo. And that will, of course, proc the Poplar effect. We're going to go ahead and drop the Poplar right over here. Alright, let's do the Snake Eye Ash effect, sack it in the Link Karibo. And we'll pull out that Oak from our deck. Alright, now we're going to use the Oak effect in order to get back the Snake Eye Ash. We'll summon that to the field. Okay, let's see here. There's actually like a couple of different ways you can do this, like as far as like the ordering goes. But I'm going to do the original Sin, giving up Poplar for, where is it, Jet Synchron. Basically, you just want to work Jet Synchron somewhere into the line there, right? Now I'm going to use Oak to sack itself and Jet Synchron for the Snake Eyes Flamber Dragon. Alright, now we can link off the Flamberge and the Ash for the IP. And this will allow our Snake Eyes Flamber Dragon to activate the effect, which we can actually use to bring back Jet Synchron. You might not realize that, but this card, the Flamber Dragon, can actually bring back any level 1 fire monster. It does not have to be a Snake Eyes monster. Alright, now that we have Jet Synchron and Snake Eye Ash, let's go ahead and make Formula Synchron with those. Throw that right over here. Okay, we get to use Formula Synchron's effect to draw a card. And we're going to need that card draw because we need to send a card in order to bring back our Jet Synchron. I guess just do the other original Sin here. Okay, there's Jet Synchron. Now we can make the Promethean Princess using Jet Synchron and IP Masquerena. Alright, Promethean Princess effect will bring back the Flamber Dragon. We are, of course, going to use the Flamber Dragon in order to put the IP into our Spell Trap Zone. Now, you do want to make sure that you're not using Formula Synchron as a material up until this point, because now we're going to summon the Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf is fire, so even though we have Promethean Princess in play, we can still link into it. Boom, there's the Elf. And now we can use Elf's effect to go ahead and just bring back that Formula Synchron. So there you go. So this is the kind of one-card combo line that makes use of Sprite Elf to be able to go into both Formula Synchron and IP. When our opponent's turn comes up, we can of course use the Flamberge Dragon to put the IP into the monster zone. We can then sync into a Baron de Fleur as soon as we have priority to do so. This actually does a couple of things for us. Not only does it put an Omni Negate that's target protected on the board, but the Flamberge brings back multiple level 1s, which you can then use with the IP to either make Nightmare Unicorn, or if you want to, you can go into a multi-material Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. You can even go into a 4-material one if you bring back Ash and Oak. Of course, by bringing back Ash and getting Poplar, you'll ultimately get the monster as well as the spell Trap Search as well. Which, so yeah, like, you know, as far as like what is on the end of our field, or what is on our field at the end of turn 1, this might not look particularly impressive, but what it leads into is very, very good. Okay. So now that I've shown you Decade's alternate one-card combo line utilizing the Elves that put both Formula Synchron and IP into play, let's now watch these games up into Master Rank. Okay, our first opponent for this video is going to be on Labyrinth. Let me just make sure this is the right, build. Okay. I didn't think I had any replays saved with the old build. Just want to make sure. But anyway. We're going to be taking the first turn here. Got Ash plus Original Sin, so we definitely should be good to go here, even if we get disrupted. Ash is going to add the Poplar. Let's use Poplar's effect to summon itself, and because I already have Original Sin, I'm just going to go for the field spell here. It is definitely still good to go for the field spell whenever you can. Even if you are, like, searching Original Sin more often on turn 1 with the one-card combo line. Again, if you have the extra resources to be able to search the Divine Temple, the card is just so good. Like, it makes Nibiru much less of an issue. It makes plays on your opponent's turn easier. It's very helpful in the mirror match, too. It's like, I've actually thought about playing a second. Like, I've had people ask, like, do you really like playing the field spell? And I'm like, I'm about to play a second copy, honestly. I think it's a really good card, but yeah, as you can see here, we're pretty much going for the same combo line I demonstrated earlier. Just with the Divine Temple because we opened Original Sin as well. Having the Oak for follow-up is also pretty nice. Alright, so here is the Promethean Princess. And Princess F will get back that Flamberge Dragon. Flamberge F will place that IP. Oh, I linked the formula. Oh, yeah, duh, for the elf. I was thinking to myself, like, wait, you're not supposed to use it as a link material. It's like, duh, not until this point you're not supposed to use it. So, I mean, there you go. That's, like, literally the exact same thing I just showed you in the combo line, just with the field spell as well. But now we get to see it played out a little bit. Gonna try to use the Flamberge F. Opponent's going to use Call By. That is a little bit brutal, honestly, because that not only stops the Flamberge from pulling the IP out of the spell trap zone, but honestly, more importantly, probably, it'll stop me from getting a couple of level 1s when I sync with it. Okay, opponent's going to normal summon Ariana. I'm going to use this opportunity to activate the Divine Temple just to get the IP out of my spell trap zone. And then I'm also going to Formula Synchron and make the Baron de Fleur. I'm going to do that now, for sure. Okay, perfect. We got the Baron, we've got the IP. Ariana's gonna add furniture, the Chandragolier here. Alright, obviously the Flamberge F isn't gonna resolve. I just kind of clicked a button there. And with the elf, you know, getting the formula, it's like, I might as well do that for the extra material. Now, okay, I have to talk about this, because this is very, very crucial. So, I just watched my opponent add a Chandragolier off of the Ariana, right? And now I see them following up by discarding a Coup Clock, or trying to activate Coup Clock. I did briefly consider using the Baron effect on the Coup Clock, just to not have to worry about back row activating this turn. But then I had a thought. I was like, wait a second, I think I might have a better idea. Rather than using the Baron effect on the Coup Clock, Since I know they just added Chandragalair and that they're going to use it, what I'm going to do here instead is I'm going to activate IP Masquerena in response to the Coup Clock. I'm going to use that with my Elf and my Formula Synchron to make an Appaloosa. This is before I pulled the new one. To make the Appaloosa. Now I can negate the furniture as it's trying to set up the trap card. And if my opponent still has a trap card here that they want to activate with the Coup Clock, I can still just negate it with the Baron. So I think that this ultimately was the right way to play this out. I really did almost just fire off the Baron effect on the Coup Clock, and I think a lot of people would have, but I think that this was the better play ultimately. Here they're going to activate the Coup Clock effect to try to get it back. I'm going to negate this with the Appaloosa, because even if I choose not to negate this, they can still crash Ariana into the Appaloosa anyway. And I definitely value them not being on this Coup Clock more than I value them having this Ariana. So yeah, I mean, like I said here, they get one trap card activation. I'm just going to negate it with the Baron de Fleur. They can't do another one this turn, so they're going to have to wait until my turn to activate whatever random back row this might happen to be. And I don't even get to see what it is because they just conceded. So it obviously wasn't anything super important. So, like, yeah, here, like, I went first. I opened to C and Droll, but I didn't even end up needing either of them in this kind of situation. We were able to utilize our end board, and not even all of it, because we didn't even have access to our most important part of it, the Sick Eyes Flamberge Dragon. We were still able to utilize our end board to help pivot around our opponent's plays and disrupt them. So yeah, again, I've said before, you know, the Sick Eyes end board might not look like a lot, but even when it gets disrupted, and, you know, picked apart a little bit, you might be surprised how much it can still put out, even afterward. But we still have a few more games to watch. Let us go into the next one. Alright, this next game is going to be against Naturia Runic, which, if you look at win rates on Untapped from the previous season, was pretty consistently across all ranks, like the deck with the one of the highest win rates. So going second against them, not the most ideal, but we do have an Ash Blossom, and honestly our hand is great. Yeah, so they're going to start with the Runic. Hugin the Runic Wings, rather. Pitching the Naturia Sacred Tree. I am going to use the Ash Blossom on the Hugin, so if I only have the one negate, and I'm up against Naturia Runic, and I know it's Naturia Runic because of the Sacred Tree, you do have to kind of decide, like, okay, what do I want to stop, the Runic line or the Naturia line? I tend to value stopping the Runic line. It's going to offer more disruption, and it's just more annoying to play through, so I'll I'll Ash the Hugin here. Sacred Tree gets to add the Camellia, which is going to get normal summoned. Camellia is going to send other tree. Second tree is going to add a Mold Cricket because the tree search effect is not once per turn. They have the Quick Play spell to summon the Mold Cricket from hand, using the effect to mill a couple and summon out the Sunflower. That's very annoying. And on top of that, they even have the Naturia Beast. Mold Cricket coming back. They get to set 2 before passing over to me. So thankfully, we did stop the Runic Fountain from causing them to recur their stuff, but we still have endless spell negations, a monster negation, and a couple of back rows to play through. Thankfully, this Imperm is very much going to help. I'm immediately going to fire that off in the draw phase against the Nat Beast, and I should have wanted during the draw phase as well, but they don't have any cards in hand, so it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Here I opted to start by normal summoning Snake Eye Ash rather than starting with the Diabellstar. The main reason I started by normaling Snake Eye Ash and not by starting with Diabellstar is because I wasn't sure which of these cards I would or wouldn't need yet. I just thought it was a little risky to commit to sending. I would never send Snake Eye Ash, of course, but I think committing to sending either of these at this point is just a little bit risky. So I'm going to start with the Snake Eye Ash, see what they do, and see how badly I need to do follow-up plays here. Alright, so Ash is going to add the Poplar. I'm going to special the Poplar. I'm just going to, at this point, I'm just going to, yeah. I'm going to do things until I get disrupted, basically. But after this Chain Link will be the first time I get priority passed back over to me while Triple Tax is going to be live. So I'm definitely looking to use, well, of course, after this Chain Link resolves. Then I'll get to use Triple Tax. But yeah, I'm going to use Poplar, put it in the back row. Sacred Tree is going to add a Blessing. Alright, now I'm going to use Triple Attack, and they're going to, of course, mill a couple to try to negate. I think their milling cards just try to, like... I don't know what they're trying to mill for here, honestly. Like, I feel like they've already used all 3 trees by this point, haven't they? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so maybe there's another card I'm not thinking of that they're trying to mill for here. Because, like, they already have Mole Cricket in the yard, too. I don't know what else they want in their graveyard off this Nat Beast that isn't already in there, but... honestly, I'm kind of fine with it at this point, so... I definitely want to take their Sunflower. Like, I'm not trying to put up with this thing. And now, the only disrupts they have available are these 2 back rows. Again, they keep milling. I don't know what they're looking for. They just milled their Runic Fountain, so I'm definitely glad to see that. But yeah, Divine Temple will definitely put an extra Flambridge in here. Gonna use Snake Eye Ash to sack itself in the Poplar for the Oak. Oak is gonna bring back the Ash. I'm gonna use Oak Effect to then sack itself in the Flambridge for another Flambridge. And that first Flambridge sent is gonna activate and bring back a couple of level 1 fires. Opponent's going to use the Flashing Fire on my onboard Flambridge. That's totally fine. I don't care at all. I mean, I care a little bit, but it's like, it's not going to stop me from making plays. And more importantly, it's not going to stop me from breaking their board here. Okay, Camellia does get to bring back another Camellia. I'm going to use Poplar's Effect to add the original Sin. And I'm going to send the Sunflower for my Diabell Star here. Now, I want to note something about the Sunflower. I hesitated a little bit to send this, because the big thing that I was thinking is, what if this last back row is another one of the quick play spells and you just bring back the Sunflower? That would be pretty bad for me, but I don't know. I decided to just hedge here. I was like, especially because they added one off the Sacred Tree, I kind of thought they probably didn't have it. It turns out they're not going to have it, but it was definitely something worth considering, and was something that I was thinking about at the time in the game there. Like, I considered sending the field spell instead for Diabell Star, but I wanted my Snake Eyes monsters to have stats to just battle over their board, because at this rate, I don't think that I'm actually going to be winning the duel on this turn. So I think what I'm going to try to do instead is just look for more ways to, like, break apart their board. I really wanted to battle before making the boar load here, but I guess I'll have the same amount of bodies either way now that I think about it, because what I'm going to do is, yeah, activate Jet Synchron and summon itself, and now I'll move to battle phase, and like I said, I already don't think I'm going to win the duel this turn, pretty much no matter what. I kind of thought that ever since the Snake Eyes got destroyed there, the one that was on field, so... Okay, they're using Runic Slumber to protect the Camellia. That definitely tells me they want to Synchro, so I want to get this Camellia off the field. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link for Hita, use Hita, bring back their Ash, and now I'm going to make Nightmare Unicorn to shuffle the Camellia back into the deck. Because like I said, I can't have them Synchro summoning. And it's definitely better to put back the Camellia than the Hugin, because any Runic spell results in them having another non-tuner, right? Oh, and then I'm going to make, even though it's only 2 material, there she is, there's the new art. Even though it's only 2 material, I am going to make an Appaloosa here, because here's the thing, our opponent's going to top deck, they'll have 2 draws. If they have 2 relevant spells, then they just drew better, right? But I can negate a spell with the boar load, and also monsters with the Appaloosa. So again, I'm gonna hedge and hope that this is enough here. Flashing Fire is going to unfortunately force the boar load Omni negate, so no doing there. Just gonna have to really hope this last card of theirs is not anything useful. Well, actually, I knew what it was. Yeah, it was the Blessing. Yeah, Naturia Blessing. Camellia to send. I'm gonna let that resolve. And yeah, the reason I let that resolve is so they couldn't battle. Although they activated Flashing Fire, so they couldn't battle either way. So that was actually fine. You know, at the same time, I think it's still okay to be picky about your Appaloosa negates there, because I've only got the 2. And it's like, the other thing too that I was looking at during the actual game is like, you know, I'm looking at Naturia Camellia, and I'm looking most notably at my opponent's graveyard. They already have all 3 Secret Tree in there, and Mole Cricket is already in the yard. Like, there's nothing they could send with Camellia that's gonna, like, matter, right? So... But yeah, I definitely wanted to negate whatever Synchro 6 they summoned. They definitely would have tried to draw a card. That was definitely not going to fly. So yeah, I am very glad I made that Appaloosa at the end there. And indeed, it definitely seemed to have done very well for me. So I think I have one more game I'm going to show off. Let's take a look at this one here. Alright, my last game here is actually going to be my rank up game into Master. It was a mirror match against another Snake Eyes deck. So let's see how this ended up playing out. We're going to be taking the first turn, opening Poplar and Diabelle. Love to see it. So I'm going to start with the Diabelle, sending the Jet Synchron here. Diabelle F to set the original Sin. Then I'm going to normal summon the Poplar, Poplar F. They're going to have the Max C, though. So, one thing that's pretty notable about Snake Eyes, right, is that it does not play particularly well into the Max C. But that doesn't mean you have zero options. I think the best thing to do under Max C, if you can, is just try to go for the field spell. Now, here, I'm going to triple tactics now, because I'm actually not planning on special summoning for the rest of the turn. I'm going to activate this Divine Temple, I'm going to place the Flamber Dragon in my Spell Trap Zone, set Imperm, and then pass over. Well, I mean, I might... That's my plan. I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm just going to have to hope that's enough after the triple tactics rip, but there's a lot of hands where it is, so let's see what they've got going on here. Oh, I went through that too quickly. It's hard in replays to catch that, but if you missed it, their hand is double Snake Eye Ash, Snake Eyes Flamber Dragon, and Original Sin. And the card I opted to put back was the Original Sin, which I think is a pretty obvious put back because Flamber Dragon is a dead draw. I'm totally fine with that being in the opponent's hand. It does nothing. And while Snake Eye Ash is, like, you know, their one-card starter, they opened two of it. So putting one of the two back does nothing. So I'm going to put back the Original Sin they opened because that will take away from their follow-up plays. Also, I know with double Ash and Flamber Dragon, all they can do with that is just normal summon Ash. And if I flip Imperm, it gets negated, they don't have any more plays. Easy win for me, right? Well, if only life were so easy. We'll see why it's not here in a second. So, I'm going to Divine Temple, place to my Flamberge, set Imperm, and then pass over to my opponent. They draw, and again, I know their hand is Snake Eye Ash, Flamber Dragon, and one unknown card. So, unless that unknown card is something really specific, then, well, of course I'm also going to Divine Temple some of the Flamberge, then this Imperm should be enough to get me there, right? Oops, nope, they peeled Cross-Out Designator. They actually peeled the literal exact card they needed to out my Imperm, which was, at the time, very, 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 very frustrating. But the game is definitely still far from over at this point. Like, yeah, my opponent has the ability to combo, but I still have a lot on my board that they have to push through. Well, not like a lot, but a decent amount, right? So, they special Poplar, add the Divine Temple, activate the Divine Temple to set up their own Flamberge in the Spell Trap Zone. Summoning Oak F to target the Poplar. Poplar F will also activate, and I'm going to chain my Flamberge here. So the reason I'm using Flamberge now, I'm going to use Flamberge and take their Flamberge, is because these cards, like Oak, they send to the graveyard as a cost, right? So after Oak summons Snake Eye Ash, they're pretty obviously going to use the Oak F to send the Flamberge Dragon, and then that will not only allow them to pull another Flamberge from their deck to the field, but then this Flamberge will pull out 2 level 1s from the graveyard. So I figured this was the best point to disrupt their plays, to stop them from having access to the level 1 bodies in the yard that easily, and also activate it before they have an opportunity to send the Flamberge Dragon as part of Oak's cost. Alright, so there's the Ash in the Spell Trap Zone. Divine Temple gets to bump it up, because I summoned the Flamberge to my field. Now, Flamberge is going to push back my Diabelle. An opponent moves to battle phase, and I think they horribly misplayed here. This is something I touched on in the deck profile. Something very, very important to know about mirror matches is getting into Flamberge fights. Here's how you win a Flamberge fight. As I discussed earlier, what my opponent should have done was push their own Flamber Dragon back into their own Spell Trap Zone. I don't really know why they pushed back the Diabelle Star of all cards, but that's completely fine with me. And now what they're going to do is they're going to crash their 2 Flamberges together in order to proc the Flamberge F to summon multiple monsters. Again, I think they definitely should just put their own Flamberge back in their own Spell Trap Zone. And then from there, like, they could have just linked the Flamberge and the Poplar and then gotten the 2 level 1s that way. Again, I don't know why they pushed back my DML star. That was rather confusing to me. Oaking battle over Poplar. Like, at this point, I already kind of knew I won the game. Because, like, all they have access to at this point is these 3 level 1 bodies. And there's just not anything significant you can do with this few materials. I know the last card in their hand right now is... what is it? It's Snake Eye Ash. It's the second one, right? Now they've added a Poplar. It's like, I know you don't have Disruption in your hand. So... yeah, all they can really do at this point is Link climb Promethean Princess and then into the Ambler Whale. But Ambler Whale by itself is like, that's so whatever. I so don't care about that at all. And I already know that with what I have on the field, like, is already going to be enough because I have the original Sin set right here. So yeah, like, Valor wasn't a good top deck. It literally doesn't matter what I top deck here. I'm an original Sin, send to that DML they push back to summon Snake Eye Ash. Looks like they're going to use Promethean Princess now. I think that's really, really early for them to proc it, but I'm very much okay with that. Promethean Princess comes back. Ash gets to add the Poplar. I get to proc my Flamberge F, as well as my Poplar effect. Yeah, they get to use Ambler Whale to bring back Sunlight Wolf, but... okay. Like, I don't care about that at all. I feel like my opponent definitely could have, like, not just pushed to my board, but maybe even won. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't have won. I think that might have been a bit difficult, but... anyway. I'm going to make the Link Kuriboh here. Then I'll proc the Poplar F to put the Flamberge Dragon back into my Spell Trap Zone. Oh, yeah. Because I summoned in this EMZ, I actually procced the Sunlight Wolf, but... again, I know every card in their hand. It's Ash, Oak, Poplar. None of them are disruptions. That means that they don't have... anything else I think they can use against me at all. Oh, they have the Divine Temple effect. Oh, yeah! They have the Divine Temple effect, but this actually is not going to mean anything at all because of what I talked about earlier. Yeah, they can Divine Temple steal my Snake Eye, but here's the thing. I'm going to make my own Flamberge Dragon, but here's the thing. I'm always going to make my own Flamberge Dragon here, and now I can just use Flamberge Dragon to take mine back. Again, that's something I think a lot of people overlook. It does not put the monster into the controller's Spell Trap Zone. It puts it into the owner's Spell Trap Zone. This is my Flamberge. It's my very, very pretty Royal Flamberge, and it's going to stay in my Spell Trap Zone, damn it. But, yeah, no, I mean, from here, it's pretty simple. We just Hita. We can even Hita and take their Ambler Whale, which is wild. And also makes this access code, like, a lot better, for sure. And then, yeah, access code, we'll just pop the Sunlight Wolf, and then we'll call it good. Opponent's not even wait for me to do that, they'll just concede. So, yeah, I want to show that game in particular, because I think it really demonstrates how important a lot of this knowledge is when it comes to the Snake Eye Mirror. Again, especially knowing that how to win Flamberge fights. That's, if you're playing this deck, that is a situation that I promise you will encounter. So make sure that you're putting the Flamberges they take from you back into your own Spell Trap Zone. Yeah, pushing random monsters like my DML star and then crashing here was it was such a suboptimal play, but... yeah, that'll go ahead. Oh, I also want to say, too, that I don't fault my opponent for, or anyone, really, for making misplays in general. It's like, we're only human, we're going to make misplays, but Snake Eye is also such a new deck to not only Master Duel, but the TCG as well, that I'm definitely not, like, I'm not making these points to be like, haha, look how dumb my opponent was here. I'm only making these points to hopefully help you, the viewer watching, avoid similar mistakes in the future. But... that'll go ahead and do it for these games in this video. Thank you so very much for watching this update to our Snake Eyes deck. I like this deck a lot. I think it's really cool, and it's definitely really good. But that'll be all for now. Let us move on to the outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for support supporting there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details, again, will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.